Welcome, Johan Hellman. Now we're going to talk about sustainability, which of course is a core area for all companies working within or around transportation. And I know that you in Unifaun, you launched quite recently a functionality called Emission tariffs that makes a lot of good work within the supply chain. Can you explain to us what about emission tariffs and that initiative?
Sure. And basically, I mean, what we have seen is that traditionally, our customers, they seek to reduce their transport spend or save money on the freight cost, basically. That's why they come to us. That's why they use the kind of tools that we provide. But more and more, we can see a shift that it's not only the monetary cost that counts. They are more and more concerned about the emission side of transports. And I think that fits into a bigger picture where companies these days are more concerned about emissions, and when they start evaluating themselves, they see that transport is actually a pretty big part of the total emissions that they generate, and then they need tools to do something about it. And basically, what we have developed in cooperation with a non-profit organization called NTM, or Network for Transport Measures, and one of our customers, Ovako, is a concept that we call emission tariffs. And what we do basically is that we try to treat emissions the same way as you would treat cost. So you use a tariff format, the same as a freight tariff, but instead of filling it with euros and SEK, you fill it with emission numbers. So the tariff can be used to calculate emissions. And the good thing here is that it's possible then we basically simplify the calculation so that it can be driven only by the data that our customers, or that we have at the point of booking or just before booking. So instead of going back and analyzing exactly which truck and exactly what kind of fuel, we make assumptions, you put that into the tariff, and when you are at the point of making the booking, the tariff can tell you which alternative will be the best from an emission point of view. So you not only measure emissions, but also actually steer based on emissions. And I think that's what Ovako wants to do, and that's what they're doing now. And I think that's when it becomes really powerful. Not only measuring, but also steering based on emissions and not only on cost.
Yes, it was interesting to hear Ovako in another interview that I made talking about this and what a significant change this means for them when they can be proactive in this way, not just measuring. How has it generally been received so far, the emission tariffs?
It's sparking a lot of interest, and we have now ongoing a couple of other customer cases that we are implementing, and more customers that we are discussing with. And I can see that this is something that the whole industry is struggling with. Also been talking to several truck manufacturers that they have a challenge today, that they have new generations of trucks that are electric or maybe just more initially or even more friendly for the environment, but they also cost more. And given that the profit margin in the hauling business is really thin, the hauliers and the truck manufacturers, they need to find a way to charge a premium for more sustainable transports. And I think that's also what we are then helping with. That if the shippers can measure, quantify, and prove that they reduce emissions, they can also motivate the higher cost.
I suspect emission tariffs isn't like a fixed product that you have now made. You will develop it, of course, in the future and do much more within that. What's the next step in developing the functionality?
I think we need to find a way to make it more scalable. I mean, today we implement it with big customers that also have an interest and are willing to invest time into it. But I think, can we make it more automatic? Then we can lower the thresholds and we can make it available for more customers. I think that's one interesting arena. I also think that this is something that we probably will combine with our e-com offerings, so that it's also possible to use in combinations, for example, with the freight checkout.
Are there other things that you would like to do in the future when it comes to the sustainability question? that you have in your crystal bowl?
But I think sustainability and emissions, it's something that will be relevant in all aspects of transport management. Just as cost is today always there, I think emissions will be. So I think in whatever we develop in terms of tools for booking and operations or for follow-up and visualization, I think we will include the emissions perspective everywhere, because I think it's something very fundamental. So I think, giving our customers to always see and be able to make decisions based on emissions, I think that's how we can support support reductions in emissions.
And the sustainability question won't be a quick fix. It will go on for a long time. Sometimes in the debate you hear about new technologies and electricity and so on, but people that I speak to that are really, researchers and others, they say that this will take a long time till we have it all fixed, if ever.
Absolutely. And I think what's interesting is that given these all new technologies, it also makes transport a bit less of a commodity. If you go back a couple of years, a truck was a truck, and it was always the same in a way. It was quite hard they all had the same, all the hauliers was using the same truck, and they had all the same fuel consumption and the same salaries probably for the truck driver, more or less. So the cost was very similar. But now I think there's quite a big and will be even bigger difference depending on what kind of technology you're using in the truck. And that's something I think we need to take into account.
Thank you, Johan, for a nice conversation about sustainability in the transport business. Thank you.
Thank you.